India stands at the brink of a new energy future. We, as a nation, are not just transitioning. We are leading the clean energy revolution. At the forefront of this historic shift is Tata Power, a name that's become inseparable from India's clean energy story. From rooftop solar solutions to vast renewable energy infrastructure and green energy corridors, Tata Power is lighting up a cleaner, greener tomorrow. At the heart of this transformation stands a symbol of scale, strength and vision. Tata Power's 4.3 gigawatt solar cell and module manufacturing plant in Tirunelveli, Tamil Nadu, India's largest single location solar manufacturing facility, and a massive leap forward for the nation's Make in India dream. This state-of-the-art manufacturing plant is a marvel of speed, precision, and smart automation. AI-guided systems, robotic precision, and self-navigating vehicles work seamlessly to produce high-efficiency solar cells and modules to meet India's surging renewable energy needs while setting global benchmarks. But beyond machines and technology, it is the people who power this revolution. With 80% of the workforce being women, many from nearby villages trained through Tata Power's green skilling programs. This is more than employment. It is empowerment. Blending cutting-edge technology with bold innovation and the spirit of self-reliance. This facility is bringing Tata Power's clean energy vision to life. Through their groundbreaking effort, Tata Power isn't just shaping clean energy solutions, it's building the India of tomorrow, where sustainable is attainable.
Welcome to Season 2 of Sustainable is Attainable, an initiative by Tata Power and the News 18 network. I'm Shireen Bhan. Today we talk about where India finds itself on its energy transition roadmap. How do we get greener, cleaner and smarter? We're in conversation with Tata Power's Dr. Praveer Sinha, a man who's been championing the idea of sustainable is attainable. Dr. Sinha, a pleasure. Thanks very much for joining us on the program.
Thank you, Shireen, and always a pleasure to be back on CNBC and part of this initiative of Sustainable is Attainable.
Well, we look forward to hearing more from you about that, Dr. Sinha. But let's start by talking to you about where India finds itself on the energy transition roadmap. We're at the start of a new financial year. There's a fair amount of global volatility and global flux. But on the energy roadmap, where do you believe India finds itself positioned today?
I believe that India is in a very good situation. It has a very ambitious plan of nearly 500 gigawatt of clean energy by 2030. And I think we are quite self-sufficient in the way we are positioned ourselves in terms of adding capacity, whether it is for solar or wind or hydro, or even for battery storage for that matter. And some of the newer initiatives that the government has announced in terms of nuclear energy, small modular reactors, I think it puts India in a position whereby it will meet its clean energy requirement by 2030, and we are super excited about the opportunity.
Well, speaking about being excited about the opportunity, we've been doing between about 25 to 27 gigawatts annually as far as renewable energy is concerned. The aspiration, of course, is to get to 30 and beyond. From where you find yourself positioned today at Tata Power, how do you see that target and that goal?
So I think that India has moved a lot in the clean energy space. In fact, we never used to cross 10 to 12 gigawatt. This year, the FY25, we for the first time did about 26 gigawatt, which is, I think, a new landmark. And this is a combination of solar, wind, and of course, we expect in future a lot of hydro plants to also come up, especially the pumped hydro. Tata Power is very well positioned. Today, we have nearly 6 gigawatt of operational capacity. I would say that about 5 is solar plant and 1 gigawatt is wind plant. And we feel that the 6 gigawatt which we will be implementing and which is already under implementation will make us one of the big players in the clean energy. And what is good is that all these projects are under implementation, the another 6. So we'll become 12 gigawatt in next 2.5, 3 years, which is, I think, a very...
Almost double.
Yeah, almost double. And this is over and above the pumped hydro and the hydro plants that we are doing. While Tata Power is geared up, many other companies also, the private sector and the public sector in the country, are moving towards that. And the ambition to have 30 to 35 gigawatt of capacity addition every year should become a reality.
In fact, the budget, the finance minister made the announcement of amending the liability clause, and there seems now to be a concerted attempt by the government to move down that path. What does it mean for Tata Power, and what does it also mean for India?
In the energy transition, one of the gaps that we had was we need to have a very efficient base load generation, and nuclear fulfills that requirement. Government has very timely taken a decision that they will open up for private sector, and the government plan is that we will have at least 100 units of SMRs by 2047, which I think is a right move and a correct move given the huge growth of power that is there in the country. The important thing is that this will also bring the best technology which is available globally, as also Indian technology. We have the Bharat Small Modular Reactor, and that is something that we can start with and then get some of the newer technologies from other parts of the world. And for Tata Power, this is an opportunity that we are looking at. We are identifying places, locations in the country where it is safe to put such large or modular nuclear reactors. And I think we'll play a very important role in the whole opening up of the nuclear reactors in the country. And we will find that going forward, we'll set a few plants.
So let's talk about something where action has already started, and this is of course something that the government has been working on in mission mode, and companies like Tata Power have been working with the government as well.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the solar rooftop scheme, Surya Ghar, and what has that meant for you as a company, but more importantly, what do you believe it means for an economy like ours?
The PM Surya Ghar program is a very, very good program and a very powerful program which actually brings the access of power to everyone in their homes. So whether it is in urban areas or rural areas, everyone can generate power and use it for themselves, and in some cases they can also supply to the grid. So I think that's a very unique program that the Prime Minister has started, and we strongly believe that it can actually democratize the use of power. And this is a big thing because the empowerment that you provide to people, where you don't have to actually depend on the grid or depend on an external source of supply, where you can generate your own power. For Tata Power, this is a very big initiative because we have been into rooftop power for many years. We are the biggest right now. We have nearly 150,000 consumers who have set up nearly 3,000 megawatt, 3 gigawatt of rooftop power. And we strongly believe that the type of reach that we have in the country, and it's right across the country.
Geographically, yeah.
More than 500 cities we are there. We will be able to play a very, very important role. And for us, it's not just about giving them the equipment, but it's also about operating them and giving them the benefit of what Har Ghar Solar program is there.
What are the targets? You're working with a plan to be able to install what, 10 lakh solar rooftops a year. How confident do you feel about being able to do that?
Well, we are working with some of the state governments, state government of UP, Rajasthan, Assam, Odisha. So we are working with them to see that their targets, which is there of 10 lakh rooftop solars in their states, how we are able to support them in that initiative. We feel that because of our spread and the channel partner and our network right across the country, we'll be in a much better position to do that. And I feel very confident that the whole purpose of clean energy is to reach out to people. And not go for centralized. So the decentralization of electricity is the biggest benefit that one is seeing from the renewable sources.
You talked about the decentralization of electricity. Let me also ask you about where you find the DISCOM privatization story at this point in time. We, of course, have some examples in the country where DISCOM privatization has worked. There are state governments at this point in time that are looking at DISCOM privatization, and you, of course, expressed your interest in being able to play a part there. Any updates on where things stand, for instance, in UP, etc., which have, of course, expressed their intent?
So I think that DISCOM privatization is the last key change that has to happen in the power sector. There has been a delay in the way the privatization or public-private partnership should have happened. But I do see now traction because most of the DISCOMs are going through huge financial crisis. Total losses of all DISCOMs put together is something like 6,50,000 crores, and it keeps on adding every year by 60 to 70,000 crores. So there is a huge financial stress in the distribution companies throughout the country, excepting for the state of Odisha, and then some of the smaller places like Union Territory of Delhi and then some of the cities in India like Calcutta and Mumbai. Most of the cities or places are still being controlled by the state DISCOMs. And that big change and transformation has to happen. I don't think states can continue to have the financial burden that they have. UP is, of course, first off the block. We do see that at least 2 of the DISCOMs in UP are looking to have a public-private partnership. Apart from that, I do know that some of the other states are also looking at this opportunity, and it's a matter of time that this will happen. Also, I think there is a great awareness amongst the government and the policy makers that you need to bring in more competition, and there can be more than one supplier of electricity. So to that extent, they will bring competition in having more than one supplier, and you can have the option.
Give the consumer the choice.
Yeah, absolutely. Of using one supplier or the other, depending upon the type of service that they provide and the quality of service that they provide and the tariff that they provide. So I think it will be a unique experience for consumers if this gets unbundled.
We're going to take a break here, but when we return, we continue our conversation with Dr. Praveer Sinha on how Tata Power will ensure India is greener, cleaner and smarter. We talk about India's energy transition roadmap right after this break. Welcome back. You're watching Season 2 of Sustainable is Attainable, and we're talking about what India needs to do to ensure that our energy is clean and green. We're in conversation with Tata Power's Dr. Praveer Sinha. I'll ask you this in the context of India's aspiration of becoming the manufacturing hub of the world. We are, of course, leading in services as well, but now with this whole global supply chain diversification, the ambition and the hope is that we'll start to move a large chain of the manufacturing supply chain to India. And it's not just the ease of doing business, but the cost of doing business that is considered as a factor before people put down a significant amount of capital. Logistics cost has always been a concern, and power cost has also been a little bit of a challenge. Do you believe that today India finds itself much more competitively priced, especially when we talk about power?
Not really. There are a few things that the country needs to do. The first is on power pricing. We have a situation whereby the industrial and commercial users cross-subsidize the lifeline consumers and the rural consumers. The way to do about is that the government of the day has to subsidize that or has to pay for it. It should not, the burden should not go on the other consumers. The second is the improvement in the performance of the DISCOMs have to happen. Already I mentioned to you about the losses, and I think with more technology coming in and more improvement through the public-private partnership and better reliability, better customer service, the losses which is there, the aggregate technical and commercial losses which is there, will drastically reduce, and that will also bring down the overall cost of power, and because the benefit of that will get passed on. We've seen that in Odisha, where in spite of so much of improvement in service, the power cost has not gone up. In fact, it has been stagnant for last 5 years. So all the benefits, all the improvements have been passed on to the consumer. So I do believe that the power cost will become competitive if we take care of these two aspects. And of course, the input cost of power with more and more clean energy coming in, the average cost of power purchase will also come down. So I think we do have an opportunity in the next 2-3 years to start reversing the trend of power cost, but that requires certain action.
And concerted action.
Yeah,
it can't be done in silos.
Yes.
Yes, that is right. But you were talking about technology and innovation, and I know that this is something that excites you. Give me a glimpse into what's happening on that in Tata Power. The 22,000 people that you have within the company. What are they excited about in terms of the future at this point in time?
Some of the newer areas that we are working on, and the whole objective is that new technology should be able to support them. One is to bring down the cost of power, give them better service to the consumer, but also come up with solutions whereby the so-called 24/7 clean power dream becomes a reality. Today, a lot of people question us that 24/7 power, clean power you cannot give because solar is intermittent, wind is intermittent, and how do you ensure that? But I think some of the things that we are doing, whereby a combination of solar, wind, and hydropower, solar, wind, and battery storage, or a combination of all four, there are some other technical solutions which is known as the demand side management or demand response, whereby during peak hours you use less energy and during off-peak hours you use more energy. Trading of energy, whereby as a consumer you would be empowered to buy and sell power through an exchange or through a platform, and to that extent you can decide when to charge your electric vehicle or when to operate your electrical gadgets in your house. So I think there is so much more that can be done going forward. And today, because of the technology changes that has happened, the disruptions which has happened, the digitalization that has happened in power sector, there is definitely a ray of hope that we'll be able to do it, possibly by the end of this decade. So it's not that it is something that we'll not be able to do it. The next thing I think is in terms of technology disruptions, a whole lot of new technologies are coming in. Today, while we have the nuclear fission technology, there is a discussion that is going on and work that is going on. A lot of people are working globally on nuclear fusion. On battery technology, people are talking of different chemistries of battery. So I think there are a whole lot of areas where we will find that people will be able to come up with smarter solutions using digital technology. And the AI that we talk of will help us to support the consumer to become their masters of the way they produce power and use the power.
So 24/7 uninterrupted, hopefully clean, green energy by the end of the decade is what you believe?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that. And this is not only good for normal consumers, but also for our industries. If they have to compete globally, and already we see that Europe and UK has put the cross-border carbon tax. If that happens, we need to transition and we need to produce, whether we produce steel or aluminium or cement or any product, we need to tell them that this has been produced using clean energy. And I think that's the way that we strongly believe that we have an opportunity to make a difference, not only in the way we produce power, but also in the way many of the other core sector industries are consuming power, and especially hard to abate sectors, and how they can transition to clean.
Let's talk about the last 10 years, but also talk about the next 10 years, because you've set yourself ambitious targets in terms of the kind of capex that you intend to do, what you believe your EBITDA should be, and then, of course, the eventual goal of net zero, which is much further down the line. But how confident do you feel about being able to achieve all of those targets that you've set out for yourself?
Our whole objective is that we need to be extra careful, but also show the ambition to try new technologies and be part of the growth that is required for the country. We always take pride in talking about that Tata Power does what is good for the country, and we are always the front runner in terms of the whatever new technologies are required. We are the first one to adopt in our country.
Well, give us a glimpse then of what the company could potentially look like by 2030, in terms of size, in terms of the scale of your ambition as well.
So we should be double of everything that we have. So in terms of our revenue, in terms of EBITDA, in terms of our PAT, we will double in all these. And what we will also do is that we will calibrate it in such a way that it meets our sustainability goals. So it's not just about growing, but growing in a responsible way. And sustainability will be the cornerstone in the way that we will plan our future growth.
What's been the mantra there? How do you ensure that you actually deliver on what you intended, what you promised, and then finally what you execute?
Our single-minded purpose, that what we are doing is a bigger purpose, and it's not just about setting up a plant, but setting up an institution which is there for next 100 years. So I think we are very passionate with what we believe is the right thing to do, and we ensure that our purpose of doing the business is met whenever we take up a project.
So, Dr. Sinha, this is season 2 of Sustainable is Attainable. A lot of ground was covered when we did season 1. What are you most excited about as we kickstart season 2?
First of all, I would like to thank you for being a partner for Sustainable is Attainable season 2. And our objective is how do we spread the message and bring out the best amongst the people in whatever way they can contribute on sustainability, because whatever we do is good if others also take that as a part of their mission. And we do believe that we have a responsibility, and we should do it so that we stand committed to the end goal that we are looking, that everyone slowly moves towards sustainable is attainable.
So all viewers who are watching, what is your message to them?
Make a change in your life. Do what you feel is correct to bring about sustainability, and you can be the first one to bring the change and bring it amongst the community.
Well, we look forward to another fabulous season of Sustainable is Attainable. As always, a pleasure speaking to you. Thanks so much for covering so much ground for us in terms of what's exciting and, more importantly, where India finds itself on the energy transition roadmap. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we look forward to more conversations with you.
Thank you very much, Reen, and always a pleasure to be part of it.
Thank you very much, sir. With that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of Sustainable is Attainable Season 2. Do stay tuned to Network 18. We will keep you updated on the many developments, and as Dr. Sinha said, join the movement. You have the power. From all of us here for now, thanks very much for watching.